Hello! Welcome to The Healing Artist. I'm your host, Frida, and friends, today we are talking about understanding. Understanding. Well, let's start by reading the card. I'm recording a whole bunch of content at the end of January for my February and March episodes because I'm going to be off taking care of my sister's tiny dog, my favorite little dog in the entire world, Carmelita Mamacita. And it's so funny because my mother was like, what is your husband going to do all alone for all of that time while I'm watching Carmelita? And I was just like, go to Trader Joe's and eat a bunch of food that I don't normally buy in our house. So like having a vegetable lasagna probably out of the microwave and enjoying himself. Oh my gosh, it's so funny. When you've been with a partner for I think we're close to 20 years. It's like, yeah, enjoy your 2 weeks off, honey. Have fun. So, understanding. I have pulled this card from Diana Cooper's Angels of Light cards to sort of give us something. What should we talk about? And this is what Spirit is bringing forward. So let's read the card together. Your angel guidance is to examine yourself and your current situation in depth so that you can have a clear awareness of the underlying relations for your challenges and situations. Self-awareness is a necessary foundation on which to build strong relationships, friendships, and work. Understanding your personality is a basis for understanding your spiritual self and your mission on earth. Ask your angels to help you. And the affirmation on the card is, I seek an understanding of myself and my life. Ooh, boy, howdy. Actually, this is an awesome card to pull out because this is a real easy one for me. Since birth, I swear to God, I have been looking for a way to understand myself. Why am I here? What is the point of all of this? Did I really sign up for this? Why is this happening? Why do I feel this way? Yeah. When I was a young child, I used to understand myself by looking at artists' work, and then I would create my own artwork. So we're talking about really young. My mom kept me out of school for a year, and we would just go to art museums and stuff. So I didn't start kindergarten until I was already 6 or something like that, I think, because she had gone to school sooner when she was a child, and it was one of those things that she always sort of had regret around because she didn't feel up to the challenge yet. And so I got to spend a year traveling around to all these different art museums with my mom looking at art. And then my grandmother had been a special needs teacher, and she lived next door. And we would write stories together about what did you see? What was your understanding of what you experienced in relation to yourself in the world? And we would write stories about it. So this is something that I have an understanding of from very, very early childhood. And my special needs grandmother was helping me because I wrote backwards, dyslexia. And I am very hesitant to give myself diagnosis because I am able to function in the world completely and totally. But a lot of the times, numbers go backwards for me and I have to pause. And also, I'm able to read, but I am a slow reader. So yeah, I don't not show up for the assignment, but it does, my brain works a little slower in those ways. So she was helping me. So my mother would take me on adventures, and then she would help me write about my experiences. I had a lot of inner turmoil my whole life. So I had sort of I came from a fair amount of trauma, of course, growing up, with sexual abuse, with verbal abuse, with a family that was ripped apart because of the said things. some physical abuse. And I was always trying to seek an understanding of how do I fit in? Why am I here? And I had such incredible emotions coursing through me. I was always trying to understand and seek why. Why is this so hard? Why is life so painful? When I was in therapy after disclosing my sexual abuse, I remember I was in therapy, and I believe I started it around the age 11 or 12. And the therapist, the first one I had, she recommended I start keeping a journal. So that is where my self-analysis began as a young person. And I still have that journal in a trunk in my garage. But it is where I began to try to understand myself, my position in the world. Why am I here? What am I good for? And originally I thought, my God, I just wanted inner peace. I was willing to do all of this work. I was willing to explore, to decondition away from, to peel back. I was willing to look at everything because I just wanted to be okay. Because I did not feel okay. I felt crazy. I felt like a live wire that came down during an electrical storm, and there's puddles of water all over the ground. And I am a combination of somebody trying to not get electrocuted in the puddle and the live wire going into the puddle. Like, that is what I felt like. And I tried to kill myself several times when I was a really young person, like while I was in middle school. I'm laughing now because I look back at it and I'm just like, God, this poor little young person. I have a lot of empathy for young people. I have a lot of empathy for kids that have gone through hell, because I know how hard it is to hang on and navigate life during a changing body through puberty. And I want to be available in a way where young people have access to hearing that it does get to be okay. So often when I do my work, so I've written 2 books. One of them is called I Am You, You Are Me, Words for My Inner Child. And the other one is called Learning to Love Myself. When I make these works, when I make art, and honestly, when I'm talking to you here on the podcast, I'm talking to 12-year-old Frida, who is sitting on her bed in Westchester, Pennsylvania, weeping, not knowing that there are any choices outside of feeling like the devil, like devastation, like a tornado, like a live wire, and not being able to stand being here in this world. Like, I am talking to that like child version of myself, and I'm like, oh honey, it gets to be okay. We make it through hell, and we walk through fire, and we are fun, and we have a wonderful life. And every day we wake up and we are happy to be here. Get out of bed in the morning, and I get out of the bedroom and I start to dance in my house. I say, good morning, house. Good morning, coffee. Good morning, world. To thrill inside of this body that I have. To love all of it. It is an ongoing curiosity. I want to know every bit of myself to love it completely and totally and fully. But my goodness, that did not just come. That is hard work, dedication, determination. And my faith really brought me to the point of even being able to look at myself and begin to have an understanding of who I am. So I didn't do this by myself. I always had someone would come into my life and when I needed them most, and they would show me next steps, or they would give me hope, or they would give me a new tool in order for me to keep waking up, showing up, and living. Because, it was rough. And it was rough for a long time. To be honest with you, it's been, when I talk about the catastrophic spiritual awakening that I had in 2019, that was the point when I chose life. Spirit has never not been with me, and I've always had these multisensory experiences throughout my life. But when I was a little kid, they were scary. I'm talking about like shades shooting up and terrifying me, or like the piano playing with nobody there, or I had that like rattle me bones game and I'm laying in bed and that thing would go off in my closet. I had this Cricket doll that was like an animatronic doll, and it would just start talking on its own. Scary stuff. And so I've never not had these like multi-sensory style situations. One time I woke up in the middle of the night and my bed was filled with wasps, and I was getting stung by wasps. And it turned out that there was a wasp's nest that was like inside the wall in my bedroom window, and somehow they were all under the bed with me, and I was getting stung by wasps. And or yellow jackets, maybe. Yellow jackets? It doesn't matter. There were bees in my bed, and it was bad. So weird stuff. I will never forget laying in bed, and I could hear my mom upstairs working on something, and I experienced like full on, I was awake, sleep paralysis where my body couldn't move, and then I heard this really scary voice in my head telling me all of these mean things about myself. So I was terrified. I was a terrified child. I was being sexually abused between the ages of 5 and 7, and I didn't know how to talk about it. I was terrified. I didn't think my family could handle it. If I said something like that, like I felt wrong and bad, and I did not understand how to share. I did terrible in school. I didn't have any friends really because I was a weird kid. Like there were other kids in my existence around me, but I never felt close or connected to them because I knew I was way different than them. I was weirdo. I was like a weird kid. And oh God, it was just awful. It was awful. I didn't want to be here. And then choices were made, and we ended up leaving where I grew up, and there were deaths in the family, and things changed, and grandparents are gone, and life became more expansive. I went to high school, and that's when I entered the phase of being angry. I was angry for everything that had happened to me. I was well into my therapy. I had, when you're a teenager, there's more expansiveness. Now I had films to understand myself through. I'd watch films. I was completely enamored with the film Fire Walk With Me by David Lynch, which is the movie that came from the Twin Peaks series. In it, I understood things. There was something in it that had a resonance with me that aided and assisted me in understanding myself and the abuse, and there was something there that resonated, and it helped me. It also totally formed my aesthetic. So my aesthetic in the world really comes from David Lynch films, for sure. And it's dark, hard stuff. I watch them now, and I think there's an excellence there, and simultaneously, wow, that man knows how to go into the depth of trauma and darkness. So I had some more tools. Now I was working with films and with friends. I went to a creative and performing arts school for high school. Thank God, part of that saved my life. I had wonderful teachers in that program, in that school. But I was still a live wire. Now I'm just an angry live wire, zipping in and out of puddles and stuff. But moving back to what I was experiencing life as a very small child, and my mother would take me to different museums, I continued to do that. I was now located in Philadelphia, and I had access to a lot. And Philadelphia has a great deal of art for free. There's free art everywhere. So the access was a lot, and I didn't waste that. I did not waste that time there. I went in and I was willing to look, and I looked at myself deeply. Now, it was through the lens of being really angry and really traumatized, and hurt people. So I was not nice. But I was doing my work, and I was exploring it through a zine that I created. My zine was called Broken Hymen. I was exploring it through, Jesus, hundreds of notebooks. I was exploring it through these journals that I kept that were just art. And I would sit in the coffee shop and I would smoke cigarettes and I would work in my journals. I would write and I would draw and I would just work through my emotions because I was a live wire. I felt everything and it hurt. It all hurt. And I went off to college. And I remember when I was in college, it dissipated a little bit. It wasn't as bad because I told the story over and over and over and over. And there's a level of you tell the story until you own the story. You can transcend the story. You can move through the abuse. And it was starting to happen by the time I was in college. And I met a college boyfriend that was a narcissist. And I swear to God, every empathic Enneagram 2 gets a narcissist at some point in their life. Oh my God, and it was the first man I was ever truly deeply in love with. I was in love with this guy. And boy, howdy, did he set me up for the next piece of, oh, now deal with this. So, we got all of that, right? Understanding. God, I can look back and it's so easy to see. But there came a point after college when I was working for the Philadelphia Mural Arts Program, and I applied to go to graduate school, and I could continue going that direction in Philly, and my sister had invited me to come out and start working with her on the West Coast. And I know Bush Jr. had just George W. had just gotten into office and so forth. And it was like one of these things where I've been contemplating doing the Peace Corps or AmeriCorps or something like that. I wanted to be in service in some way. And it just ultimately, or go to grad school. And I just looked at, my parents had helped me with my undergraduate, they paid for it. I've gone to an art school and I'm like, geez Louise, do I go learn how to become a portrait painter, which was one direction I was thinking about going in. And that would set me up to be able to work as a teacher. And I just didn't want to do it. It just wasn't calling. And while I was completely and totally in love with the man that I met in college and was living with, the situation was bad. It was like a bad relationship and it wasn't healthy. And I knew that. And I knew it was unhealthy. And yet I kept dumping my energy into this black hole because I was desperate to seek the approval of this man. And I just ultimately knew that my path was headed out to California and to live on the West Coast and to work with my sister and just jump into the workforce in a way where I was able to work as a creative. So I got to jump into a place where I was working with, I had a lot of opportunity on the West Coast. So all of a sudden now I'm thrown into a situation where I'm working with the uber wealthy in their homes, creating environments for children's birthday parties to happen in. And that's the direction I took. Through college, my entire exploration and understanding of myself came through self-portrait. And I would go as far as to say as 95% of the art I've ever made, when I make it for myself, is self-portraiture. It is all an attempt to understand what is happening inside of me. What are these emotions? Dissect them, understand them, lay them out, to remove them from my body, get them on the paper, and help me understand and process what is happening to me. What am I going through? What am I feeling? Why? Why am I here? I was always going back to that. Why am I here? What is the point of this? This whole notion of self-exploration and willingness to look at oneself, I would say I fell asleep through most of my 20s and into my 30s. I just sort of like checked out in a way where I was doing other stuff. I was definitely seeking money. I was seeking approval. I was a workaholic for a lot of that time. I was drinking a lot. And there was a level of just a refusal to truly look at what do I actually want? Who am I? What is happening with me? Like, it was just one of those things where I was in a treadmill style rat race situation where I just wasn't looking at it. Like, I was so busy, I wasn't even available to really understand myself during a period of time. And that was completely fine. I kind of just jumped on the bandwagon of other people's dreams for a while and did that. And I was really good at it. Like, I was really good at helping within community. I was really good at setting these events up and and anticipating other people's needs. I was getting a lot of approval. I was getting money. I was getting accolades. And I loved that for a period of time within that journey in my 20s and early 30s. And then it came to this point, though, where spirit was like knocking on my door again. And it was like 2017, and it was like, wake up, wake up. I started seeing angel numbers everywhere. So I know what angel numbers are now, but I didn't at the time. And it would be like going through my day, and I remember I would see 444 everywhere. Everywhere, day in, day out, months and months, 444, 444, 444. And it wasn't until much later, like after when the pandemic started and I sat down at my computer and started looking into this stuff, that I even learned that would be called angel numbers. And my life was getting difficult in ways where spirit was knocking and I was refusing to look. So 2019 rolled around. I have this catastrophic spiritual awakening where it was one of these things where, okay, Frida, you could have died. You didn't die. If you continue to live your life and go on the track that you are going on, you will die. Do you want to live? And it was like I made this actual choice. Because up until that point, everything was always trying to understand, why am I here? Why am I here? And I made a choice to live in such a way where I was like, okay, if we're going to do this, let's do it. And I was like, I need to get right with my insides. And that is when everything changed. I quit drinking. I quit drinking by listening to a book on audio tape. It was called This Naked Mind, I believe. I listened to it while walking on the treadmill at the gym over and over and over and over and over and over. And I quit drinking. It helped me quit drinking. This Naked Mind, I'm fairly certain it was called. I had quit smoking earlier. I had gone on a real physical activity kick, had a personal trainer for years, got really into yoga, and that had helped me quit smoking, but I was still sucking on nicotine lozenges, and I sucked on nicotine lozenges for years, like 5 years or so. And in 2019, no more. my body was just like, we are not putting this crap into us anymore. Stop it. It was just like, it was done. And I believe that I had some sort of spiritual intervention because I was unable to quit up until that point. And then I swear, like, it was just like, nope, we're changing you from the inside out. No more. No more nicotine lozenges. No more alcohol. You are done. I got really into walking meditation. It was something that was introduced to me through Cynthia Varkavisser, someone who she's actually our intuitive real estate agent that helped us get our condo. But she's also a psychic. She is a channeler. She channels Enduro and Dara. And she would run these during the pandemic. She ran meditation group and it was just free. And she did like Facebook Lives and we would just meet up and have this meditation practice that I began. And it was 5 days a week, every day, every morning. And she helped me learn to meditate. And from her teaching me in early 2020, when the pandemic first started, I've never gone back. Meditation is my baseline. I am a huge meditator. It changed my life. If there was one thing that helped me understand myself more, it was that meditation practice. And she introduced me to walking meditation, which is the thing that then was my saving grace through the pandemic. I'd go and walk, and I would allow these trapped energy fields to come up in my body, and I would just practice surrender release. And I learned how to do that through the book, The Untethered Soul by Michael Singer. And then furthermore, by a free lecture series that I found on Hoopla that Michael Singer did. For me, he is one of the most, I'm going to choke up, but he's one of the most important teachers I've ever had in my life because he taught me the surrender release process. Another really important teacher in my life is Eckhart Tolle, because the power of now helped me understand that there is no past, there is no future, there is only this moment. And I internalize and live that. I live that way. I do not past trip. I do not future trip. I live in the moment. And that is the deliciousness and understanding that when I wake up every day, I'm here, my body is here. How is the coffee? How is life? How is everything? I choose it. I'm here. Because very little in the literal moment is happening usually that is bad. So it helped me embrace my life in a way where everything is a joy. Everything is an understanding that we're here to enjoy ourselves. Let's have fun. Life is meant to be lived. Let's have a good time. After all of that suffering, I deserve happiness. I deserve to walk towards what I want. What do I prefer? And I prefer feeling good in my body. Okay, well, let's make choices to feel good inside my body. If I eat that bag of potato chips, am I going to feel good inside of my body? No. Okay, I'm not going to eat that bag of potato chips. Because it's all about choosing, like, well, what would feel good? What's going to make my body feel good? What's going to make my mind feel good? Does this slasher horror movie make me feel good? In the past it would have, because it was hitting upon traumas that I then removed from my body. So it's like, no, I don't need to put that in my awareness. We're going to watch the Gilmore Girls instead, So understanding that it is all a journey, and at no point is the journey wrong. There was a wide swath of my life that I was thinking, like, God, I wish I had a different life. What would I be like if I wasn't sexually abused as a child? What would I be like if that hadn't happened to me? If I hadn't disclosed, if it hadn't ripped my family apart and turned everything upside down and made me think that I was wrong and bad and evil for such a huge part of my life. What if that didn't happen? I wish that didn't happen. Who would I even be? I'd be so much more fun and confident and da-da-da-da-da. And it's like, no. What happened is exactly what needed to happen to have this person that I am now. It set me up to walk through fire, to learn to create my own heaven on earth. Because I know what hell is. I spent a long time in hell, and I'm done with hell. Every day I wake up and I will create my own heaven on earth. And it is not that I don't see suffering outside my door. I do see suffering, but I can see it, and I cannot take that suffering on as my own. I can see the suffering, and if I am tapped on the shoulder by spirit in order to help in some way, I will. And I am available for that and open to it and able to give from the overflow because I understand myself so fully, and I'm not giving in order to get anything in return. I am able to give from just a place of stepping in and being some form of earth angel. You just step in and you do something, and then you honestly just let it go. You don't even really, it doesn't stick around. It's just in the moment, to live in the moment, to be available for spirit to work through us, and just step in, do something, continue on. I have a very fiery, hot personality. It's just like very fast. I'm fun, fiery, goofy. I'm not afraid to be the butt end of a joke. And again, that comes back to fully understanding myself. I can be the end of a joke because I know that's not real. I know the hell that I've walked through. Like, I'm not going to take that personally. Because of everything that has happened up until this point, I'm able to come forward sharing myself on the internet as a semi-trans voice channel, something that I believe is important for the people and something that I want to share in the world because it holds the frequency of the earth that we want. It holds the frequency of the new blueprint of the future that we desire to create together, one of more equality, equity, inclusion, diversity as the norm. That's where we're headed. A world that is worth something for all of us and not just a few. A world where everyone is seen as understanding that everybody brings something to the table, regardless of where they are in their lives and healing journeys and existence as humans. Everybody has something to offer. They really do. How can we celebrate that? So I'm wondering, as I just chitter chat away, what is this bringing up for you? Where are there places in your life where you would like to understand yourself more? Understanding is that beginning to healing. Understanding is that why do we do something? What is it within us that is being triggered in order to then bring forward, bring up? What do we need to work through? I love the mantra, triggers are my best friend. They show me where I have work to do. And I fully believe that. Get triggered. Find it in your body. Where is it hitting you? And that's going to be your blocked energy field. That's going to be where are you going to be doing your work to pull something out of your body from the past that does not need to be there. And I got to tell you, in all of the years that I've been doing the work that I am doing right now on Earth, it is currently January 21st. We have so much access to moving this stuff really fast through our bodies. We have more access right now than I have ever felt at all in this body, in this life on Earth. It is fast moving. And I want to inspire you because if I can do this work, if I can move through hell and create a heaven on earth where every day is a delight, a joy, I'm having a good time being here for the amount of time, however long I'm here. I want to have a good time. If I can do this work, you can do this work. and talking to that 12-year-old sitting on the bed, really wanting to die, it does get better. There is a possibility. It can happen. You can do this. You can heal. You can heal yourself. Invite the light into your body. Invite the light of Source into your body. Let it meet you in the darkness. Let it meet you in all of those places. The pain, the suffering, the stories that you have told yourself in order to survive. Meeting yourself in not super healthy outlets, places where you might be numbing out or avoiding. Meet yourself there. See them. Understand yourself. Look at it. Look at it. When we all do our inner work, when we look at ourselves, truly, deeply get to know you, fall in love with yourself. I used to hate myself. I hated myself. I hated myself so much I went and tattooed myself when I was in my late teens with the biohazard symbol. I tattooed that on my back because I hated myself so much. I wanted to mark myself as the human trash that I thought I was. To get to know ourselves so completely, when you're willing to look at every shadow aspect, every deepest, darkest fear, every nasty thought, every jealous, nasty thought you might have, look at it, understand it. What is it from? Where is the need that isn't being met inside yourself, and how can you meet it for yourself? When we all look at these things deeply, truly, look, feel. When we feel it, we have the ability to heal it. And when we understand ourselves, we are able to greet the world with less emotional reaction, blame, shaming each other, and taking things personally. It really takes that us versus them out of the equation. When you truly, deeply know yourself, there is a compassion that arises for all of humanity because you understand how folks are just operating through their lens and their own experience because you so deeply understand your own, and you don't use it to be a reason why you're unable to function well in the world. You're using it to then go within and to heal through it and just have a full understanding, which then arrives at compassion. And here's that ultimate step. And what Elizabeth brings through with her frequency is that I am you, you are me, we are one. So the full circle of the whole thing is we are all made of energy. We are all an aspect of God. And we are all just souls having human experiences, bumping around together, learning our lessons, doing our thing. So you may as well wake up each day and frickin' enjoy it. Because there only is this literal moment. So in the literal moment, how can you meet it? How can you love it? How can you move through it in a way where it's like, all right. Where can I be of service in the world? How can I help one another? How can we help one another? All right, friends, that's what I got for you today. Understanding. Fun. Great. Loved it. Friends, I wanted to tell you that I run a morning meditation program. It is called Return to Self-Love. It is every Tuesday morning from 6 to 7 a.m. Pacific time. And that is open enrollment. You may join anytime. It is a monthly membership. So it is $111 a month, and that is going to get you a class every single Tuesday morning. And from that, it's a 1-hour teaching. There is 30-minute teaching, and there is a 30-minute meditation. And then I send you in your email, you're going to get the entirety of the class, and then you're going to get a private Vimeo link, and that link is going to take you to that 30-minute meditation. And then I also send you a downloadable version, so if you want to keep it forever on your desktop, you can. And you're going to do that meditation, so there is personal accountability here, 4 more times during the week. And it's 30 minutes, and that is going to teach you to create your own spiritual practice. So if you like me, you like what I've got going on, come join us in Return to Self-Love every Tuesday morning. You can sign up for that on my website. And then I want to invite you to my full moon circle. I run a full moon circle once a month on the full moon. You can find it at fridahealing.com under the full moon circle, and you can find out when is the next one. They are $35 a class, or if you want to get the entire season pass, so that's every full moon, that's going to be 12 moons, or as they say, lunations. We do a releasing ceremony. We bring up what is ready to be released and release it. And it is a wonderful 1 hour meditation. Really good, yummy deep dive. And that is $300 for the season pass. And we have one full moon in the bag so far. By the time this airs, there will be 2. But if you get the whole season pass, it is the... instead of $35 a class, it's $25 a class. So if you intend to come to them, it's still your best bet to get the season pass. And I will send you the previous full moons, the meditation portions of those, the ritual aspects, so that you can sit with those and have those as well. The moon has told me on a number of occasions that it does not need to be the full moon to work with her. She is super happy to work with humanity at any point in time. When we gather with intention at a certain time, the full moon, it is a wonderful time to release what no longer serves us. And there is an amplified energy to it because the people have agreed that that is when we do this releasing ceremony, and it amplifies the energy. But you can work with the moon at any point. It doesn't need to be a specific time. All right, friends, I wanted to tell you that I love you. God, Universe, Source loves you, and I hope that you have a wonderful day.